Yes guys, welcome to Ferry Goes Fishing. Now I'm being a little bit quiet because I've just turned up at a lake called Coombewood fishery. Had done a couple of laps of the two lakes here. I managed to get some fish feeding on the surface just in front of me. So my plan is, I've been feeding them for about 10-15 minutes and they're competing a little bit now. So my plan is to try and catch one or two off the top quickly in this little spot. And I'm just going to keep moving today. It's about 3:30 now. And I plan to fish till probably about 9 o'clock, something like that. So I've got a good few hours, hopefully pinch quite a few. So yeah, I'll record me casting out in a minute, but I'm just going to be a bit quiet for now. Okay, so here we go. I've got them feeding a little bit by that tree. First time. Doesn't seem to have disturbed the area too much either. They're still feeding a little bit, so that's good. Okay. Well, fish number one in the net. I'll show you him. He's quite a nice little colourful one actually. And the area seems to be going okay, so I'm going to throw a little bit more bread out and see if we can nick one or two more from the spot. But I'll show you this one in the net. Sorry, in the landing mat. Okay, so as promised, fish number one. Look at this little thing. Look at the really cool colours on that. So it's like whitey silver with some orange flecks. Not sure if you can see that very well. I think the other side probably shows it a little bit better. Feisty one. And you can see the colours of the orange in that. Really cool looking little fish. Probably only about 6-7 pounds, something like that. If I just bring my mat a little bit closer. Just kind of show you the colours. Look at that. How cool is that little thing? Really nice little one off the top, just on freelined bread. Just been feeding them for about 10 minutes, getting them confident on the bread. Freelined bread on its head. First of all, it went for it and missed. You can see it's not got a particularly big mouth. So it went for it and missed, left it, came back up to the surface, it went for it again and nailed it. Yeah, lovely, fish one. What every surface fisher doesn't want to see is ducks coming in your swim. Ah dear, just before I could get the rod back out, they've came in. I'm just going to leave it for a few minutes and see if they clear before throwing some more bread out. Well, I've just gone confident again, and yeah, the geese have come in. I'll give it another couple of minutes, but I might need to find another spot. Oh, it's fair to say that spot is now a no-go. They will not leave, and my spot is there. They're just waiting for me to cast out. So yeah, I'm going to move spots. I'll probably go on the Specky Lakes. I'm on a little match lake at the moment. I wanted to get 1 or 2 in first. They've dictated it'll only be 1, and then I'm gonna move on to the Specky. I've seen some in a corner. I threw some bread out earlier. They weren't coming up for it, but you know, I'll give it another little go. The good thing about sort of surface fishing, you can travel. That is, I don't know if you can see that. It's terrible lighting, but that is all the gear really I need to fish safely. So I've got a net, obviously a landing mat, a sling, some bread, my rod with just a hook and some bread and a drink because it's very warm, and that is all I need for my surface fishing. So yeah, I'll probably catch up with you when I'm on the Specky Lake. Okay, so just a little update. The geese have gone the other side of the lake for a little bit. Don't know if you can see my hook bait. My bread is just down there. You can see what I've done is deliberately just hooked over the top of a tiny little branch, so if a fish takes it, it's not gonna, you know, get caught on that branch because it's just a little flimsy thing. But what it does mean is my bait sits exactly where I want it to. Little tip for you is to do that. Just try and hook it over a little tiny branch, little flimsy one. Don't do it over a solid one, otherwise you'll snag the fish. But yeah, so a fish has just taken from just to the left of that. So I'm hopeful something might take that. But obviously I'll update you if we get one. But yeah, this is the specimen lake, and I'll show you it a little bit later on. Okay, well these geese are thoroughly ruining my surface fishing session. I'll just show you what I've done now. I've put a rod on the bottom, just on the tip of that tree there, because there's plenty of fish showing. Again, sort of got them feeding just a little bit, and these geese switch lakes just to come and find me. Yeah, they're making surface fishing impossible, unfortunately. But you know, you can't argue with nature. So I've got one on the bottom now, in the hope that at some point they'll leave me alone and I can start sort of getting them feeding on the surface again. But yeah, that's the update for now. Not ideal, but that is fishing. Well, confession time. I'm back on the match lake, and that is very much a match fish. Unfortunately, just wasn't happening over on the specimen lake. I was just absolutely plagued by those geese. So every time I got a bit of consistent feed going in, those geese were killing me. Gave it a good few hours, to be fair. Managed to get them to leave me alone for about half an hour, but still, just the fish just weren't feeding, and that's how it goes with surface fishing sometimes. If they're not feeding on the surface, they're not feeding on the surface. I gave it a good go, so I've come back onto the match lake. Hopefully I can get a few feed, and I can try and target 1 or 2 of the bigger ones in here, because they do go up to just over 20, I think, in here. I've had some good doubles out of this lake before. They're not all that size. That's definitely one of the smaller ones, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll let you know if I have any more. Okay, I've put that one back, so I'm just going to have another little cast. Just in front of that bush where I want it. Let's see. I've been taking pretty confidently, to be honest, so I'm hoping something to take it pretty quickly. They're just moving towards my hook bait now. Obviously didn't fancy it. The coot coming around the corner, so hopefully a fish takes it pretty quickly. Oh, here we go. There we go, just before the coot. What I'll do is I'll show you kind of how I set up my bread. And what I would say is free lining bread, it's never 100%. I mean, you are going to lose the occasional fish. Hopefully I'm not talking myself into it at the moment, but you are going to lose the occasional fish when you surface fish. Free lining, it is just the hook and no sort of lead. So I'm going to make sure this one doesn't go into that bush. Certainly feels a little bit bigger than that last one, but that isn't particularly difficult. Oh, it's coming towards me now. Just going to grab my net. So mirror this time. Yeah. Okay. Again, not huge. Probably, I don't know, probably about another £5 or £6 or something. But yeah, I'll show you it once we've got it on the landing mat, and we can take a little look. We are not breaking any records on this trip. Oh. Little ones are always the feisty ones. Come on. Let me show you off. Yeah, another small fish, unfortunately. And I think as we've kind of conceded defeat with the surface fishing on the Specky Lake, they're probably not going to be massive. But hey, we're out here having a bit of fun, a bit of surface fishing. And you can see that, just to provide a bit of context, this bite's probably come about 3 or 4 minutes after the last one. So if you get on a lake that's got a few fish, particularly a match lake, you can have real fun surface fishing. Definitely my favourite way to fish where possible. Makes it better if you're fishing for some of the bigger ones doing it. But hey, if they're not feeding, they're not feeding. So that's how it goes. Okay, a little bit of a tutorial time, just for how I hook my free line breads. And you might think, well, just hook it on any old way, surely it does the job. I would say that if you don't hook your bread right, it's one of those things that once you've got it perfected, stick with what you're doing. So if you've got a method that works for you, keep doing it. Don't sort of necessarily do this just because I'm saying it. But I'll show you the method that works for me, because I think it can be really frustrating if you're not landing fish, but they're taking your bread constantly, and they're taking your bread and you're not hooking into them, and you're thinking, what's going wrong? And I've been there. Believe me, I've been there. So I'll show you what I do. So I take a whole slice of bread, fold it in half, and then I take probably about a third, I'd say. I take about a third of a slice like that. And what I do is I hook right through the middle of it. So the hook comes right out the other side. Hopefully you can see that, right out the other side. And then I kind of fold the bread towards it. Sorry, not showing that very well. Fold the bread towards it a little bit and just pinch in the middle. So just, that's not going to focus very well, but just around the hook, it's pinched pretty hard. But the rest of it is still that fluffy. And it will look something like that. So the hook is still exposed a little bit, and I know people have different methods and people won't do that. I've never ever found that to spook fish. I think just because of the way it sits, quite often the hook would be out of the water anyway, but it seems to be the way in which I land the most fish. It nails them, whereas if you completely hide your hook, there is a chance that you won't hook it. It will pull the bread straight through. And like I say, it can be very frustrating. So yeah, that's how I set up my bread. by all means give it a go. Let me know how you get on in the comments if you do try it, and what your success rate is like. Well, no sooner had I put those fish back, the geese have moved in, which I think spells the end of my session. I cannot run to another lake and get 10 minutes in before they come and get me again. I haven't got the energy, so I called it a little bit early. It's been really the story of the session. The geese have done me on this one. I think they're going to come up here and try and take my bread out of my hands in a minute. Yeah, so it might not be the end of the video. I'm looking to potentially do a little bit more recording in a few days' time. I might be on another lake that I'm planning on surface fishing for the day with a friend. So if I can get some content now, I will. I'd imagine it's going to be quite busy, so I don't know how much opportunity there'll be, but I'm going to give it a go. That's the plan. So there might be a second part to this video. There might not. We'll see how that goes. But what I have got coming up is a trip to a lake called Olive Mead for a week very soon. So I'm staying in a lodge there. Definitely going to do a good vlog on that. Hopefully get lots of good footage for you, and hopefully some big fish. That's the plan. Yeah, so far the couple of videos I've done, not had the biggest of fish, I've got to be honest. That's how it goes sometimes. But we'll see what happens in a few days. You never know. I've had some surface caught 20s before, so one of those would be quite nice. But yeah, catch you soon, guys. Hello people, I'm going to give you some more details about this lake in a moment because it's just started to rain. Just had a small one, a small common, surface fishing again. Oh, he doesn't want to play ball, this one. It's just been a general theme of the fishing here. There you go, little common. I'll get this one back and I'll tell you a little bit more about the lake. Hello people, so this is obviously part 2. I'm down at Hartleylands fishery reservoir lake. Usually a bit of a runs water, fairly easy lake from my experience in the past. I've seen a few YouTubers not to do particularly well on this lake, so it isn't always easy, but it can be. But they've been fairly tricky today. I've had a couple, my mates had a few as well. As you've seen, I just put a little common back, and I had a nice little mirror when I first got here as well. We're around lunchtime now, so things haven't gone brilliantly, I must admit. Not feeding as confidently as they usually do. We got here quite late and the lake is full, so we had last pick of swims, and to be honest, we're right in the middle of the lake. No margin for me to fish on or anything like that, so not ideal. I wanted to be at the far end where the wind's blowing and where I've had numerous fish in a session from that corner before. I think I had about 25 in 5 or 6 hours. Hasn't been like that today, that's for sure, and the fact it's chucking it down definitely doesn't help. So I'm not surface fishing at the moment. I've put one rod on the bottom, but to be honest, that wasn't what I was intending to do here today. I wanted to show you some more surface fishing. So I'll show you a picture of the mirror I had when I first got here, which was quite a nice little fish. Which, like I say, I'll pop a picture up in a moment, and I'll keep you updated if I have any more. Go, fish number 3, probably about 8 pounds, something like that. Not caught off the top, unfortunately. It was on the rod on the bottom. Like I said, it's been raining, just stopped, so I'll get the surface going again. But yeah, bottom caught one just under a little tree. Yeah. Okay, fish number 4 on the bottom again, so that's 2 on each now. Literally fished rod length away from me. Yeah, that's it really. Right. Fish number 5, 6, something like that. Surface caught, this one, red, free-lined. Again, probably about 7 or 8 pound common. Not getting into the bigger ones again today, but I've got another one in the net. Had a double take on the bottom rod as well, which is a smaller common, so I probably won't show you a video of that one. I will stick up a picture. But yeah, that's how I'm losing track, 6 or 7 or something at this point now, after the other one in the net as well. Yeah, okay. Again, I don't have no idea what number we're up to. But another surface caught one, a little slender, pretty ugly mirror to be honest. But yeah, it's absolutely rocking on top now. This is what I hoped today was going to be, just real fun surface fishing, lots of fish. Yeah, it's coming to fruition now for sure. How about that pretty mirror? Probably about £10, again not massive but really nice. Whoa. Really pretty mirror, really nice colours on it. Again, surface on the bread, just sticking to that now. Got a couple of hours till we probably go, nah, probably not even that, half hour or so, up to an hour before we go. I think probably got about 5 or 6 slices of bread, so when that runs out, yeah, happy days. Well, I've officially lost track of what number this is, but another surface caught one. Got them really feeding now on the bread. Happy days, probably the biggest one I've had so far actually, so hopefully they get bigger. I imagine about £12, but I'll give it away in a little bit. About £9. You reckon? £9, the cheeky swine. It's probably the last fish, last slice of bread, got about half a slice left. Managed to get this ghosty. We've been seeing it swimming around for a while, been targeting it a little bit, eventually got it last slice. Yeah, happy with that. Bread, as always, does the job. Oh, there we go. Well, I lied, wasn't my last fish. That half a slice of crust has done the biz. Quite a nice common actually. I think probably around £13–14. It's a nice one, probably the biggest one I've actually had today. So yeah, glad I put that last half a slice in. Yeah. Alright, just to say we're done, we're wrapped up. Yeah, lots and lots of fish since about 1:30. It's just absolutely popped off. I don't know how many fish I had in the end, probably a region about 15. I didn't video them all, some of the smaller ones and things, but yeah, surface fishing as always kind of comes good in the end. I know the first session was a bit slow, so this second sort of part of this episode, hopefully you enjoyed lots of fish. So take care and I'll see you on the next one.